A solemn day in America. Whether you like President Trump or not, a two-timed impeached president, that's tough. It's a test for our constitutional democracy. At about 1 p.m., House managers performed their sacred and constitutional duty as they moved with their documents and their charges from the House side to the Senate side. A formation, a march, so to speak, that we have seen, unfortunately, before in this country. It happened at about 1 p.m. this afternoon. Okay, it's true. I think it's a joke, and probably so do you. So I found this rather silly music from the Little Rascals and put it to this rather silly moment. A second impeachment of Donald Trump, who is no longer even president. But seriously, I was thinking about the Little Rascals. I was thinking about Alfalfa and Spanky and Porky and Butch. Because whenever I got mad and upset about what was happening, I realized, remember, this is a joke, this is a sham, and it shouldn't be happening. We got to keep our spirits up. They are trying to delegitimize our president, President Trump, going forward. I don't want that to happen, and I don't think you do either. But they're doing their best to make this a very solemn, serious occasion. All right, we got to go through it. They do have, as you know, procedures, rules, and protocol, but very little common sense on Capitol Hill. So they had to go through the motions of deciding whether or not this is all constitutional. They've already made up their minds, but House manager, the prosecutor, so to speak, Jamie Raskin, the lead one, he started things off.
Senators, this cannot be our future. This cannot be the future of America. We cannot have presidents inciting and mobilizing mob violence against our government and our institutions because they refuse to accept the will of the people under the Constitution of the United States.
We cannot, it must go forward. I think he was laying it on a little bit too thick, don't you?
Yes, he was. And by the way, Jamie Raskin, he wanted to overturn election results in January of 17 when Donald Trump was about to win the electoral count in the Joint House. All right. Nevertheless, they presented some evidence, and we've seen this stuff before. We've seen the videos. I was struck, though, by how amateurish it was all put together. Seriously, it was like they got some seventh grader who also mows lawns to edit this stuff. I've seen better jobs on Rachel Maddow, but here it is.
Stop the steal. Today, I will lay out just some of the evidence proving that we won this election, and we won it by a landslide. This was not a close election. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Yeah. Let's take the Capitol. Take the Capitol. Let's take the Capitol.
Okay, what you saw there was some selective editing, some deceptive editing, some sloppy editing, but you didn't see real evidence. No, not when you present it like that and you leave out anything that's remotely exculpatory, all right? That shows that President Trump was not inciting a riot. They all purposely left that out. We knew they were going to do it, but it's still wild when they actually do. So, John Sullivan, Black Lives Matter activist, also a videographer for House impeachment managers. They're using his footage to make their case against President Trump. All right, so that went on and on and on. It got rather tedious, rather boring. You know, we've all seen this stuff before. And then it was time for the defense, led by Bruce Castor. He was first. He was on the show last week. I think he had something of a delay tactic in mind. He talked for a lot. It wasn't the most riveting testimony, but I think there's a method to what they're doing here. Then came David Schoen, a litigator, does a lot of work in Alabama. He was sharp, he was compelling, and he made the case that all this is, well, first off, unconstitutional.
This is nothing less than the political weaponization of the impeachment process. Pure, raw sport, fueled by the misguided idea of party over country, when in fact both will surely suffer. I can promise you that if these proceedings go forward, everyone will look bad. You will see and hear many members of our Congress saying and doing things they must surely regret, but perhaps far worse than a moment of personal shame in a world in which history passes from our memories in a moment. Our great country, a model for all the world, will be far more divided, and our standing around the world will be badly broken.
Made a great case. He was compelling, easy to follow. He talked for a long time, but it didn't seem like it was a long time. And the video evidence that he submitted that showed what hypocrites Democrats are in this situation, it was compelling, it was well done, it was professionally put together, and I'm going to show it to you right now.
It is a function of the insatiable lust for impeachment in the House for the past 4 years. Consider this.
I want to say this for Donald Trump, who I may well be voting to impeach.
Donald Trump has already done a number of things which legitimately raise the question of impeachment.
I don't respect this president, and I will fight every day until he is impeached.
That is grounds to start impeachment proceedings. Those are grounds to start impeachment. Those are grounds to start impeachment proceedings. Yes, I think that's grounds to start impeachment proceedings.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
I continue to say, impeach him! Impeach 45! Impeach 45!
So we're calling upon the House to begin impeachment hearings immediately.
On the impeachment, Donald Trump, would you vote yes or no?
I would vote yes. I would vote to impeach.
Because we're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the mother.
But the fact is, I introduced articles of impeachment in July of 2017.
If we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
My oath requires me to be for impeachment, have an impeachment hearing. He needs the scarlet eye on his chest.
Representatives should begin impeachment proceedings against this president.
It is time to bring impeachment charges against him. Bring impeachment charges.
My personal view is that he richly deserves impeachment.
I'm here at an impeachment rally, and we are ready to impeach the...
Pretty compelling, right? Hypocrites and prejudiced, okay? Can't really say they're prejudiced against the case or in the, because they already made up their minds about the man. That's what's happening, prejudiced about Donald Trump, and so blatant about it. All right, so they did vote on the constitutionality of this case, so it will move forward. It was a formality, I guess, but they're going to debate the merits of the accusations of the impeachment counts tomorrow for a couple of days. We'll see. We'll be following it. I was curious what Joe Biden was doing. You know, the White House told us that he would not be watching television because we, the White House staff, have him too busy around here. So he had a meeting in the Oval Office. But have you noticed there isn't that much energy around the White House and around Joe Biden? I mean, look at this. This is obviously... I don't know, a figurehead? What do you want to call him? You think he's running the country? I am hearing from people in Washington, D.C., in key positions all over the government, some outside the government, saying that, you know who's really running the show here? Ron Klain, his chief of staff, Susan Rice, I think she's the top domestic advisor. That's her title. And guess who? Barack Obama. These are the three most powerful people in America right now, far more powerful than Joe Biden. Joe, I don't think he really cares. Maybe he's just happy to be there. We'll see. Who knows? Do you think Joe's really running this place, kind of squaring them away, telling them what's what? I don't get that sense, and neither do my sources. So now that he's president, we're getting to know Joe Biden. We're seeing things that maybe we didn't see before. He's a little bit clumsy. This is the first or maybe second time he got on Air Force One as president, and it was almost catastrophic. All right. I'm nitpicking a little bit, but sorry, President Biden, it comes with the territory. When you're the man, everybody's looking and watching. And I've noticed something about you, and actually from the heart, sir, this is sincere, it concerns me. You're taking those stairs a little bit too fast. This whole running thing, this whole trying to convince everybody that you're a man of vitality. I've seen you run down ramps, run on stage, run off stage. It's going to catch up with you, and we're starting to see it. Take it easy, okay? Fair enough? Fair enough. He's 78, okay? Shouldn't be running and trying to prove to everybody that he's 68. You know who understood this very well? President Trump. Every time he took the steps, he was very careful. Hand on the banister. This is actually one of the faster sequences. I've seen him go very slow on the steps. You know why that is? He was acutely aware and remembered vividly the unfortunate antics of Gerald Ford.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
That was the Access Hollywood video he had, but he was talking about Gerald Ford. Remember? Do you remember? Gerald Ford fell here and could never live it down. From that point on, he was the butt of jokes, Saturday Night Live. Well, who isn't? President Trump, they got him for other stuff, didn't they? But they never got him for falling down, right? He was always careful. So seriously, my advice to President Biden, please, Mr. President, walk, don't run, and maybe also don't ride, okay? The bicycle, he's ridden that thing way too fast.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.